Hi everyone, my name is Sudham Reddy Duba, having an experience in this containment technology from past 7 years. DevOps is an existing culture that has been adopted by many of the organizations. Today we have to learn about DevSecOps for containerized platforms. For existing DevOps culture, we have to integrate security. Let us see what are those. Let's talk about few common security stages for organizations. The first one is infrastructure security. Second one will be system security. Third, we have to take care of network security. And finally, we have to take care of data. These are the things what we have to remember while taking care of security on the system level or the infrastructure level, network level or data level. Now we have to adopt this particular existing security technology into the containerization platform. Let us see a few points what we have to take care. First, we have to take care of cluster and RBAC. Cluster level security in the sense, for example, you have configured Kubernetes cluster. Once a cluster was formed, now we have to identify the issues what we have missed while forming the cluster. Cluster level security is nothing but we have to verify the cluster state. And we have to see whether we have enabled all the parameters as part of security in the cluster. Not only that, we have to provide a proper authentication and authorization with the help of RBAC. This is the first point what we have to remember as part of security in the containerization platform. Let us see the next one. Image vulnerability scan. We have many tools that have been supported to identify the vulnerabilities on the image. Once your image has been converted from Docker file to image, once you have converted your Docker file into image, before pushing it to the image registry, we have to verify the vulnerability. That's the thing what we have to take care as part of security. Third one, we have to take care of container network policy. Container network policy will help you to add a firewall between the pods on the Kubernetes cluster to restrict the traffic or to allow the traffic. That is one more point what we have to remember as part of network policy. And finally, we have to take care of data. That is, we have to encrypt the data what has been stored in Kubernetes cluster with the help of etcd component. Because the entire cluster information of the Kubernetes is stored in etcd. What are the data you are retrieving from the etcd has to be encrypted with the help of certificates or base 64 or any other medium. Not only that, we have to take a regular backups of PV and store it in a secure location to recover the data when there is a disaster. These are the major points what we have to remember when you are working on a containerized platforms. Let us take one example and discuss about DevOps workflow for containerized platforms. As part of that, as a developer, you will be writing the code. Then this particular code will be stored in a repository like GitHub or any other repository. And then now we have to build the image. In this particular stage, you will be converting your Docker file into image by using Docker tool or any other third-party tool. And then we have to take care of image vulnerability. Once the image was built, before pushing it to the image registry, now we have to run the scan with the help of Trybe or Claire. Here I've written about Trybe. We have another tool called Claire. By using any one of these particular tools, we have to identify the image vulnerability. Once the image vulnerability has been passed, now we have to push the image to the image registry. It could be Docker Hub, it could be Azure Container Registry or AWS Container Registry or GitLab Container Registry or many more. Once the image has been pushed to the registry, now we have to pull the image. We know that we can run the command called docker pull image. Once the image has been pulled on the respective platform, now we can deploy the applications on Docker platform or Kubernetes platform. After deploying the applications, now we have to take care of security, which comes under policy as a code. To implement policy as a code, we have a tool called OPA, which is called as Open Policy Agent. In Kubernetes, we are using as gatekeeper. The gatekeeper of Kubernetes will help you to identify whether you have deployed your Kubernetes cluster as per your requirement. And the objects what you have created as per your policy. Now, this particular things will be taken care by OPA, which is called as gatekeeper for Kubernetes. Once it is done, we can do our cluster verification by using CIS benchmark with the help of the tool called Kubebench. So these are the securities what we have to implement in our existing DevOps workflow so that we can add a security in the containerized platforms. Here is one of the example which I want to explain. Now let's see what are the tools we are going to train in this particular course. Now this entire workflow has to be automated by using any one of the CI/CD tools like Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or Azure DevOps, and many more. Now let us discuss what are the tools that we are going to teach in this particular course. As part of that, let us talk about DevOps tools for containerized platforms. First, we have to learn about Docker tools. Then we have to learn about Kubernetes orchestration tool to run your applications. After that, we have to learn about how to deploy applications on the Kubernetes cluster by using Helm, which is widely used by many of the organizations. And then we'll be talking about OPA policy in order to implement policy as an agent for your Kubernetes cluster. And then we'll be discussing about Rive, which is an image vulnerability scanner. And then we'll be talking about Kubebench, which will do the CIS benchmark testing. And then we have to automate this entire process by using any one of the CI/CD tool like GitHub Actions or Jenkins or any other tool. Then finally, we have to monitor the applications running on the Kubernetes cluster by using Prometheus or EFK. One is a logging monitoring tool, that is EFK, and one is metrics calculator, that is Prometheus. So these are the tools what we are going to learn in this particular course as part of DevSecOps. Kubernetes Engineers is providing you this particular course based on roles. For example, you want to learn about Docker and Kubernetes or any other containerization tool as a DevSecOps. Now, what are the tools that I have to learn? If you come back to this particular panel, we have created a course called Docker and Kubernetes for DevSecOps. If you select this particular panel, it will show you all the necessary tools that you have to learn as part of security. Kubernetes Deep Dive, Docker CI/CD, Kubernetes CI/CD, Helm charts, GitOps, Docker security, Kubernetes security, and projects related to DevSecOps. These are the courses what we have created so that you can be master in this particular DevSecOps for containerized platforms. Once you are done with your course, we can plan for the certification for CKA and CKS. In order to do the certification under security, that is Certified Kubernetes Security Specialist, first you have to do any one of the certification like CKA or CKAD. Certified Kubernetes Administrator or Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. My recommendation is first try to complete Certified Kubernetes Administrator, then try to plan for Certified Kubernetes Security Specialist. Now this entire course will provide you a right path to reach this particular certification. Happy learning.